Hey friends! So today we're starting a new interactive read aloud, and that is this book, A Different Pond. So this book is a story about a father and a son and their special relationship together. So as we read this story, I want you to be thinking about how you can connect to this story. Maybe it's a relationship that you have with your father or grandfather or uncle or someone in your life or just your family in general. So we'll be stopping along the way to write some things down about the story as well as any connections that you have to this story. So go ahead, get your reading journal out and a pencil, and get ready for some stop and jots. All right, I'm going to switch to my camera view so that way you can see the pictures. All right, A Different Pond. So if we notice right here, the dedication says, "For my family and for refugees everywhere, for the working class and all the young dudes." So when we're thinking about refugees, this might be people that move to America or another country for safety reasons. Maybe there was a war going on back home that they moved. Okay? And the working class is just people who work really hard for what they have. All right. Dad wakes me up quietly so Mom can keep sleeping. It will be hours before the sun comes up. In the kitchen, the bare bulb is burning. Dad has been up for a while, making sandwiches and packing the car. So I want to stop right here. I'm going to reread this part. And I want to do that so we can get a vivid, clear picture in our mind about what's going on. So really look at these illustrations. So Dad wakes me quietly so Mom can keep sleeping. It will be hours before the sun comes up. So I'm already noticing something about this illustration. It looks like they might all be sleeping in this one room. And then in this part, when it says the bare bulb is burning, we can really get a visualization of they don't really have like a hanging lamp or anything. It's just a bulb hanging from the ceiling. And I might even picture the sound that it's making, kind of a buzzing sound. And the dad making sandwiches to pack the car. I wonder what they're going to do. "Can I help?" I ask. "Sure," my dad whispers and hands me the tackle box. So now I'm kind of getting a connection. The boy is kind of like me growing up. I always wanted to help with things, whether it be something that my mom was doing in the kitchen or my dad was doing outside. He loved to do the lawn and stuff, and I would always ask for help. Wonder, have you ever asked for help? Or have you ever asked somebody to help you? The street lights look brighter, and the roads aren't so busy. Before the sun comes up, Dad turns on the heater and tells me stories. This must be early in the morning before the sun is coming up. They're in the car on a cold morning. A kid at my school said my dad's English sounds like a thick, dirty river. But to me, his English sounds like gentle rain. So I can make a connection to this because when my dad would talk or tell stories, his voice would sound like home to me, especially when I was away at college, because I missed the sound of his voice and it just made me feel very comfortable. Sort of like how this boy is feeling about his dad's voice. We stop at the bait store on Lake Street. It always seems to be open. So I'm noticing that they're probably going fishing. I heard about a tackle box and a baits shop. "You're here early today," the bait man says. "I got a second job," my dad explains. "I have to work this morning." "On a Saturday?" the bait man asks. My dad nods. I feel the bag of minnows move. They swim like silver arrows on my hand. So at this point, we see the boy and the dad doing this together, going to get the bait, the minnows, before they go fishing early on a Saturday morning. So I want you to do your first stop and jot. So what do you think the boy is probably thinking or feeling about this moment? And how do you know? So again, I want you to stop and jot about that. What is the boy probably thinking or feeling at this moment? And how do you know? You can pause the video to stop and jot a little bit longer. And after you stop and jot about what the boy is thinking or feeling at this moment, I want you to write down, how do you feel, or what are you thinking at this moment? And again, pause the video anytime you need to stop and jot. It's still dark when we get to the pond. We park the car and climb over the divider between the road and the trees. So I recognize those rails almost like on the side of a road or a highway. So they're parking and they're getting out. And I'm also noticing this sign posted, "No trespassing, keep out." So it seems like an area that they're not supposed to be in. My dad holds my hand and walks ahead through the tangle and scrub. "Step where I step," he says. I'm thinking about what Dad told the bait man. "If you got another job, why do we still have to fish for food?" I ask. "Everything in America costs a lot of money," he explains. I feel calluses on his hand when he squeezes mine. So calluses might be those hard things on your fingertips or your palms when you work a lot, or even when you climb like monkey bars or climb ladders a lot, you might get them. Make your hands a little tough. So right here, I want you to think about something. So the dad says, "Step where I step." What do you think the dad really means by that? Can you stop and jot? So what do you think he means by saying, "Step where I step"? And what does that tell us about him as a person? Sometimes a Hmong man is at the pond. He speaks English like my dad and likes to tell funny jokes. Sometimes there's a black man there too. He shows me his colorful lure collection. So I have to stop right here. So this part relates to a part of me, so I'm making a connection back to myself and my relationship with my dad. My dad loves to tell jokes. He thinks he is so funny. So I can tell that just like me, I love funny, I love laughing, that this little boy, look at him. I can tell that he likes these funny jokes too. This time, it's just me and my dad. It's a little bit cold. I rub my hands together, yawn, and look up to see faint stars like freckles. I'm also noticing a lot of figurative language, comparing the stars to freckles. They're all dotted in the sky. So it seems like usually there's some other people there when they're fishing, but remember the beginning of the story told us that they were there a little bit earlier than usual on this morning. So it's just them. As Dad sets up in a clearing, I gather small, thin twigs for a fire. They need to be dry and clean. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 10 more for later. So he is getting prepared for a fire or two. I put some rocks in a circle and set up the twigs like a volcano. Dad reminds me. I set one end of each twig down, the other up, leaning them in so they rest against each other and hold each other up. I get to light with just one match, Dad nods. So right here, I'm kind of feeling like this boy listens to his father so well, and he's very proud of himself by his face in this picture. He listened to his dad and he built it like a volcano, and then he was so proud of himself for lighting it with just one match. I want to help, or let's see. You want to put a minnow on the hook? Dad asked. I want to help, but I shake my head no. I don't want to hurt that little fish, even if I know it's about to be eaten by a bigger one. Ugh. My dad smiles. He isn't upset with me. So I want us to stop right here for today. So I want you to think about what just happened at this part of the story with the minnow. So what just happened, and what does it tell us about the kind of person the boy is? And is he similar or different to you, and why? So this is your last stop and jot for today. So go ahead and write down, what is this page, this action right here, tell us about this boy? What kind of person is he? And make that connection back to yourself. Is he similar or different than you? And why? All right, readers, we will pick up with the rest of our story tomorrow. Go ahead and make sure you're completing your stop and jots, and I'll see you back tomorrow.